list I found. And it's the middle of we're getting into the middle of December by when this comes out. Christmas, we're building up for it. Trying to make plans, trying to figure out what we're going to gift people. That's always one of the hardest parts, unless you're just like me and you just either don't give people things or give them money. But I found this list, and I want to point out that I don't have any context for what this is. It's on a website called whalehouse.canada.ca.
Whale House.
And it says Whale House Guest House offers luxury boutique private suites with outdoor hot tubs overlooking humpback whale feeding grounds, located next to the East Coast Trail in the Witless Bay Ecological Reserve, 30 minutes from downtown St. John's. I don't know what province St. John's is. I believe that's Newfoundland. But they made a list that is the 17 worst Christmas presents to give a partner or a loved one. And as I was going through it, they don't seem that bad. Like, some of them are kind of like maybe a little insensitive or cheap, but like, I want to go through this with you, and we're gonna give a yay or a nay on what we think about these gifts as Jacob hunts his cat back down.
Well, no, like, the cat's down. She's acting weird. I think she sees the shadows from the lights, and she's curious.
That's fair. Okay, so there's 17 on this list, so I'm going to go kind of fast. Not too fast, but let's start it off. So number 1 is a coffee cup. And I'm not going to read the little blurb they put at the end, because it's all real kind of snarky.
Yeah.
It's like, for this one, it starts off like, if you really needed another coffee cup, you would probably go out and buy one. I don't know. If I got like a nice like collector's cup or a like a nice mug that's like branded with something, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Good Mythical Morning, and their mythical stuff. They have like a cup that's like a mug that when you pour in hot stuff, it like changes the design on the outside. So like, if someone got me that, I'd be pretty into it. I don't think getting a coffee cup for someone's like a terrible Christmas gift.
I'm gonna be honest here. I hate coffee cups.
Oh, why do you hate coffee cups though?
I hate it. So it's the weirdest gripe I have, right? Okay, so I don't have anything to explain it with, but do you know how I don't hate all coffee cups? I hate the ones that have the very thick walls. Yes, so like when you put your mouth on it, it's like you're just getting wall, and it's like I want the liquid. I don't know. I prefer glassware.
I prefer to pull all of my coffee into an enema syringe, and then I just right into my mouth. Oh. The ghosts are coming for you, Jacob.
No, I was like, where'd the cat go? I heard a noise and the cat disappeared.
Okay, so we're split on coffee cups. Number 2, a Walmart gift card. Now, I don't know what Walmart's like in Canada, and I don't know what the shopping situation is in Newfoundland, because I've been to neither place. But I'd be pretty fine with a Walmart gift card, especially if it was enough to, like, buy some, like, maybe, like, snacks or something. You know what I mean?
If
I don't care. I'd just go...
got a Walmart gift card, I'd be happy. But if I was in Canada, I'd be happier, and there's a reason for it. And it's because Coca-Cola still sells, like, the coffee Coca-Cola in Canada, and they only sold it here for like a year.
Yeah, I forgot they discontinued it here. I tried all of the flavors. I wasn't the biggest fan, but it was good.
Oh, dude.
Certainly better than the shit. Have you had any of this new weird shit like Starlight or like that they're releasing now?
I have not, no.
They have like 3 flavors that have come out in the last maybe like year or 2.
Oh, wait, no. You meant Coke. Yes, I have.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of any of them. They all taste like... I don't know... They taste like the Disney definition of sugar. Like, yeah. I don't know a better way to say
Starlight was okay, but I do like the bitterness of the coffee and stuff. And I will say, I also enjoy the Coca-Cola coffee for other reasons that like for like experience that I've had with it, because it's fun. Like, it's tied to social events that I had a really good time at. Oh, so it's like I have those memories tied to Coca-Cola coffee now.
Yeah.
So it's like I wish we still had it, because it might not even be that good, but I love it all the same.
Yeah, I misunderstood what you were saying by that. I was like, what, did you like mix it with laudanum or something?
No.
The experiences I've had. Have you ever had just pure LSD liquid mixed with Coke coffee? It's fucking great. So, okay. So we're in agreement on the Walmart gift cards. Number 3 is socks. And that, I mean, I gotta say that would kind of suck.
Okay.
Like,
hear me out.
Okay.
This is the way I look at it. I don't want to go out and spend my money on socks.
I feel that same way for boxers.
And underwear. So whenever, like, I'm a very hard person to get any sort of gift for, unless you're, like, my significant other, because I'm very closed off with what I like, kind of thing.
I guess that's fair.
Because it's like, I could be like, I like computers, but you wouldn't know what I need for my computer, whatever. Whenever, like, my family members, such as, like, I don't know, my mom is like, what do you want? And I'm just like, pee pee poof, I don't know. I'm just like, get socks and underwear. And I just link them the socks and underwear, and they're like, okay, cool. Because I don't want to spend my money on it. That's a great gift, because now I can use my money on something I want.
I think that's fair. And like I just said, I'm the exact same way. I do not think I had bought new underwear in like 2 years until my girlfriend recently was like, hey, you need underwear. We're going to go buy you underwear. And I was like, all right,
exactly. We will survive off of what we have until we physically cannot.
So, no, I agree with that. That the small thing, I think that's something about getting older too, right?
Yeah.
Both in like having your own money and having your own expenses, where it's like you start to have a moment where you're like, I don't want to spend $25 on a pack of boxers, but I would like some new boxers.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. Now, number 4 is personal hygiene products, but they specify that they mean things like toothbrushes, mouthwash, razors, etc. They do not mean cologne or perfume or anything. So I do think with that, like, even if it's a nice toothbrush, because I don't even like electric toothbrushes, so it's like, if you got me, like, even if it was like a nice, like a Quip or something, and you like got it to me, I'd be like, thanks, and then just kind of think mean thoughts in your direction for a couple minutes.
I'm figuring something out about myself as we go through this list.
So that you don't buy yourself any of this shit, so you're fine with just getting it for free.
No, I like, my grandma gets me a toothpaste. She got it for me like 2 years in a row. I think she gets it for all her grandkids, because she's like, I can't keep up with what y'all like anymore. So
Nah, that's fair.
you can just get toothpaste. And I'm not gonna lie, I used all of that toothpaste, of course, brushing teeth, but like, I'm like, that was the most useful gift she could have gotten me. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather get that than some like knick-knack that's gonna sit somewhere. But yeah,
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence here, because it's like, in terms of razors, like, if you got me a nice electric razor, because like I had I think Audrey bought it for, maybe I bought it. Someone bought me my kit that I used to shave my head, and that thing was like $50 or $60, and I really, really like that razor.
Oh, yeah.
And it also came with like grooming scissors for like beards and mustaches and stuff. So it's like, I was a big fan of that. But I think if you just handed me like a 5-pack of Bic razors, I'd be like, like you got from the Dollar Tree, I think I'd be like, thanks.
for the longest time, I had like one of those electric razors, that like the really old ones, and I had it since I was like, I don't know, in middle school, because I could grow a beard in middle school, because I just immediately, I just have the genes for hair. So it's just like, boof. And I had that.
You got hairy genes, boy.
It must have skipped a generation, bro, because, yeah, whatever. Obviously I wasn't good with a razor, so we just went and got one from like Goodwill or something. And so I'm just like, I clean it. So I start using it. I'm like, man, this thing sucks. I used it all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, up until like a year ago. and then my dad was like, you have to stop. You have to stop. Here you go. Take this razor.
No, I mean, that's fair though. Yeah, originally what I did was, when I was clean shaven, I had a there's two types of electric razors you can get. You can get the one that has the 3 like circular razor blades on it, right?
Yeah.
And then they have the one that's just like a flat bar, and I always preferred the one that's just a flat bar.
Same.
And so I had one of those, and I used it for about 2 years, and then as I started growing my beard out, it became too like I got to a point where the razor was not going to shave this. Like it wasn't going to get through this without causing immense pain to myself. So I started going to, at first it was an actual barber, but now it's like fucking sports clips, and I just have them like trim it up and trim it in. And then Mallory now does my hair and trims it, my beard and stuff. So now, granted, if you're looking at it right now, she hasn't done it in a while because I've been lazy. But generally speaking, moving on to this list, we've got number 5, and number 5 is my favorite one. Number 5 is an empty picture frame.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like that. I mean,
I don't think I'd appreciate that.
well, yeah. Like, my cousin is big on like homemade gifts, and she'll like make gifts. So I have a couple of picture frames that have stuff in it, but I would never. I don't have anything to put in a picture frame.
This article points out my exact problem in that it says, besides, how do you know it will be of use to the recipient and that they will like and be able to use the color, design, and shape? Because that's the thing. And this is, unless that frame comes with a cool painting, blah, blah, blah. It's like let's say that I've got a lot of prints. Like, they're in a drawer, but I've got a lot of prints. At some point, I'd like to have them framed, put them around my house. If you knew that about me and you were like, okay, good gift for him. He wants some frames. I'll buy some frames. So you bought me frames. It's like you don't know what I'm putting in the frames. You don't have any concept of like the size or the color or anything that I need.
When I first moved here, like I specifically bought these 2 posters, and I was like, this is the first time I've ever bought a picture frame instead of just putting a poster on the wall.
Yeah.
So I bought like, cause these are movie size posters like you would get. So
yeah.
Yeah, I bought the frames. They're pretty cheap, and they like fall apart all the times. Because like the frame, like the ledges, they just clip on.
Yeah.
It pisses me off.
No, so true story about me that everybody can enjoy. For all of high school and my first year of college before I moved out, I had 4 pictures that were all from the same book series. That were all the covers of the book. They're about the size of those posters you have.
Ooh.
And they were all framed and hung in my room right above my bookcases for, 5 or 6 years. Can you guess what those books were?
Harry Potter?
No. Kind of in the same vein, though, kind of.
Percy Jackson?
No. Twilight.
That's
I had
crazy.
all 4 Twilight book covers. I was a big fan of Twilight, the books. I didn't care about the movies, but I had all 4 covers with about the movie size, and then they were laminated, and then they were framed. And it was actually a Christmas gift from my grandparents, which was funny.
I think if you like it, that's good. I'm sure the books are better than the movies. The movies were just like thirst traps for girls.
They were. I mean, more or less, basically. It was just generic kind of romance.
Yeah.
Moving on to other things that aren't Twilight. The ugly Christmas sweater is number 6. Now, the thing about this is the only way I can imagine you give somebody an ugly Christmas sweater is one of 2 things. 1, you made it and you're not self-aware that it's ugly. Or 2, it's a joke. And in either case, I feel like it would be hard to call that a bad gift, right? Because yeah, if Aunt Mark or whatever decides that she's gonna make a sweater for you, and she brings you the sweater, it's like, yeah, it might suck and you might not ever wear it, but it's like, you made a sweater. That's something, to make as a gift. And then the other way around, it's like if I'm with like friends and they're like, here, we bought you this sweater, it's just a big dick with like Christmas colors all over it. It's like, well, yeah, this is obviously a joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd consider it the worst gift. I just think it's definitely played. Definitely.
Yeah. I've never gotten the Christmas sweater just because, I don't know. People
gotten as an understood it or received one?
Receive
are
one.
you saying you don't
Receive
get it?
one.
Oh, okay.
No, I give the premise. I think everyone around me knows that I wouldn't wear it because even in the coldest days when it's like it could be slightly below zero, snow on the ground, I will still walk outside in gym shorts and short sleeves.
I mean, that's fair, yeah. As I have gotten older, I noticed it came in tandem with two things. One, getting older, and two, not drinking as much, is that I'm not quite as sensitive to heat the way that I used to be. And so I notice a lot that I have started wearing jackets when it's colder, and I've started wearing pants when it's colder. But for me, it's only worth it if one of two situations. One, I'm going to be driving because I smoke when I drive a lot. And so, like, when I'm driving, I'll have the window down a bunch. And so I don't want to just keep constantly getting hit by cold air. Or two, if I'm doing anything that's going to keep me outside. But if I'm, like, going to McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Like, all I'm doing is parking and walking inside, then I'm not going to bundle all up. And I've said this before 1,000 times to my family and to my girlfriends before. But my main reason is, everyone knows it's winter. No one is going to have AC on in their fucking store, right?
Yeah.
So when you get there, you're going to go in and either the AC is going to be off or the heat's going to be on. So why would you want to sit in heat, like a heated place, wearing like a jacket and pants and big socks and boots and all? It's like,
fucking preach it, my guy. That's the hardest thing to convey to people. It's like, I'm going from point A to car to point B. I don't need a jacket for the 5 minutes in total that I will be out in the cold.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, like I said, if I'm gonna be hit by cold, I'm gonna have that. Let's see, what's number 7? Number 7 says candles from the dollar store. Now I'm gonna throw something out there. I get all of my incense from the Dollar Tree. All of it. I got the incense burning kit I have, all my incense sticks. You go in there, spend like $5 to get like 4 packs of them. There's like 30 in every pack. I'm a big fan of incense from the dollar store. As for candles, though, they're really tiny and they burn out pretty quick in terms of scent. But I would say, unless you're just stuffing stockings,
yeah,
for like a family of people, probably just abstain from the Dollar Tree for presents. Like, if you want to go buy some candy and, like, I don't know, toothbrushes and pencils and shit to throw into a stocking, sure, that's fine. But I don't want to unwrap, like, a box you made that's just filled with, like, $12 store candles.
I have a skewed view of this because I play D&D. I will not use candles. Like, I light candle, maybe once a blue moon. And I've lit more candles with the different, like, significant others I've had because they just enjoy candles more than I do.
Yeah.
But D&D, playing D&D, if you can play D&D without, like, light, like, say I wasn't going to stream it, we don't need, like, because in the D&D room we have the sun, which is, like, fucking 16 LED bulbs. And it was debuted in a previous podcast, like on the video episode. But if you can turn that off and just be illuminated by candles, because for Halloween, that's what we did. We played a D&D game, just candlelit. If you can fund that for me, I will love you.
I mean, I guess in theory you're right, because my first thing, like, thinking right, was scented candles, like a candle you light, you put in the corner of the room, let it. But now that I'm thinking about it, Dollar Store does have, like, the big, tall, like, white candles, right? And so it's like, if you got a bunch of those and just set them up for, like, ambiance, and I guess that's fine. But if you're trying to say, like, instead of getting, like, a Better Homes and Gardens candle, you bought me a Dollar Tree candle, that's gonna be a little different, I think.
if you're putting a candle in there based for scent, then it is different.
Yeah.
If you're talking about just, like, white stick candles, then yeah.
So we're kind of in agreement on 7. Number 8, a corny keychain. I don't even begin to understand. Again, most of this feels like shit that you would stuff into a stocking. And at the end of the day, none of that really matters. Now, the keychain's kind of irrelevant, but I do want to actually skip a couple of these because I'm running out of steam caring about this. Number 11 is weight loss programs. Followed up by number 12, which is exercise bikes.
Okay, I wouldn't like an exercise bike. Maybe I would. I don't know. I'm indifferent because I haven't tried one. My cardio is done a different way, just by keeping like heart rate is maxed out by whatever means I can do. You know what I mean?
He keeps his cardio up by chasing the pigeons in the park. He'll get one eventually.
Now, what does it specify weight loss programs?
It says, just like giving an exercise bike can send the wrong message, giving a membership to a weight loss program can have the same effect. Anyone concerned about their weight will find the holiday season stressful enough, so don't add fuel to the fire by giving them a membership to a diet or a weight loss program. So I think they're talking about things like Chris Hansen's podcast
like
has this ad that I don't know anything about it. Factor's one of them, but another one is like it's like an actual weight loss program that you pay like a membership to called Beachbod.
Oh,
I've never heard of it or looked into it. So I don't think they're talking about like HelloFresh or anything. I think they're specifically talking about like you pay monthly to be in this like diet program.
Yeah, I know of one. I'm blanking on the name.
Nutrisystem, I think, is one.
That's probably
like
one.
And then South Beach Diet, I think you have to have a membership.
I am a picky eater. I will eat what I want when I want, and my thing is like, I would rather count the macros of stuff and like deal with it that way. And eat certain things, then go and join a program that's going to be like, we're going to do it for you. And they're not really teaching you much. They're just giving you what you need to do. Then you can't do it for yourself. You can't do that. But, okay. The reason why I was asking is because we discussed last episode, or the episode before last, how expensive pre-workout is. If someone gave me a couple tubs of pre-workout, I would be like, dude, that's crazy. I love you.
I feel that, but I think that more plays into like, it's kind of like the difference of like for instance, you were actively like dieting and working out pretty regularly right now. I know that about you, right?
Yeah.
So if I really wanted to like help out, I know the kind of things you do and the workouts you do and such, and the things you intake before. So that's like a familiarity thing. If you just said in passing to me, I really need to lose some weight, and then I'm like, congratulations, I signed you up for a year in Nutrisystem. You know what I mean? That feels a little less like, that's a lot more, I guess, invasive to someone's life than like knowing that this is like a product they actively consume.
Yeah.
Right? And like,
C4
would be
sponsor.
like, here, I'm gonna help you.
Sponsor me.
Sponsor just.
You can send it to Zach. You can send it to Zach, but he doesn't need caffeine. Send it to me.
The rest of these are pretty generic. You've got calendar, office supplies, paperweight, self-improvement books, cleaning tools. But number 15 is the last thing I want to talk about on this list, and it is cash. And here's their reasoning. Nothing feels more like a clinical business transaction than exchanging cash. Unless you're handing out Christmas cards stuffed with cash to employees at your corporate Christmas party, giving cash is not personal enough to be a great Christmas gift. Yes, we all like money, but giving cash to someone as a Christmas present shows you couldn't take the time to think of a gift they would like, so you're just giving them cash and leaving the work up to them.
False. You give me money?
Yeah, I don't agree.
That's crazy.
The best thing you can give me is just straight money.
Yeah, again.
Like, that sounds shitty, but it's like, because my second argument to that, right, to getting money is that when you get money, right, you can get multiple monies, right? So if you buy me a gift card for $50 to one place, and someone else buys me a gift card for $50 to another place, I'm stuck spending $50 at those two places. Whereas if you give me cash, I have $100 to spend anywhere.
Yeah, that goes back to people don't know what I like. So I'd rather get money than you give me like some weird knickknack that I'm not gonna care about. Or I don't know, I sit in the weird spot where like when I was younger I was like, I enjoyed getting even like the weird little things, but at this point if it isn't something that I probably will enjoy, like if it's not connected to D&D, like if someone got me a set of like dice for D&D, that's an instant like, I like this. It doesn't matter what it is, like what color it is or whatever. But if you got me something for my computer, I probably wouldn't like it because it's not what I chose. Even if it's like the same thing, it's like, I've already done my research. Get that shit out of here. I think the only time I would be happy receiving like anything again was either a very close family member or a significant other, where it's just like, I don't really care what you gave me. It's the fact that you're giving me something is what's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what
But
you're
if
saying.
it's like some random person, they're like, I know that you like computers. Here's this keyboard. I'm like, this is a $20 keyboard. I ain't using this shit.
I feel that, though, definitely. Should we intro the podcast?
Yeah, we should. We should. Welcome to the podcast. It's the Fluffy Biscuits podcast. We sort of forgot to intro. I am Nazir TL, also known as Jacob, and I am here with my good friend Zach, who goes by Pixelated Trash on the interwebs. You can find me on Twitter. You can find him on YouTube.
I have a talking point too for today. It was something that I was reading right before we started recording, and it made me start thinking. Do you think
No.
that? Neither do I. Do you think that people start hobbies based on their interest in an end goal or their interest in the process? And the reason of this was. Let me give an example so you understand what I'm saying. I was reading about a podcaster I like who does metalworking, and he has a lot of knives that he's made because of the metalworking. But I'm talking like, 7-8 years before he started doing that, in the early days of their podcast, he showed a propensity for like knives, like wanting to collect knives and stuff. And so there was just like a little Reddit discussion of like, well, do you think he has always been interested in knives, so he started metalworking because he wanted to make knives? Or do you think he just wanted to metalwork, and so he makes knives because he's interested in that also? It's like, if that makes sense, it's like,
it makes sense.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it think of like a content creator, right? If you're saying like, do you want to make content because you enjoy making content and that process is fun, or do you enjoy having the end video and putting it out there and having it seen more? And so I wonder where, just in general, most people fall for that, where it's like, I started this hobby because I was interested in this, or if they're just like, I've always been interested in this specific hobby.
For like computers, right? When I was younger, I enjoyed the concept of me having a gaming computer. But financially at the time, a gaming computer, it still is very expensive. But I think the entry level was a little bit more expensive back then.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since when you're younger, you think you just have to buy it. So I knew right away that if I wanted a gaming computer, either I'd have to buy it or figure out something else. So I figured out how to build a computer probably like into 5th grade, starting of 6th grade, watching YouTube. And I remember like literally watching the video. I didn't really care about the building part. I wanted a computer, and it was cheaper to build. And I remember going to my mom being like, could you buy me computer parts? And she was like, if I don't know how to build a computer, neither do you. And I'm like, oh, what? And then I think it was that moment, literally immediately I was like, that's it. I'm not going to buy a computer. My first like actual computer will be a computer I build just because I want a gaming computer. And my mom said I didn't know how to build one. So it's like 50-50. That kind of answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And I guess I just think it's interesting because it's like, there's not a whole lot of things that necessarily fall into that same category as something like metalworking or computer building, right? But you think about it like, I don't know. I think about it like something like camping. It's like there's like probably 10 different reasons someone could like camping, and that could be why they get into camping. But it's just like, are you camping because you really enjoy being outside, or are you camping because you actually enjoy the act of camping, or are you camping because you want to see nature? It's like, what's your reason for camping?
Yeah. Well, I think for some things it could be, for instance, like he was saying, I like knives, so I learned metalworking to build my own knives. Something like that. I can see that.
Yeah.
That sounds feasible. But for other things, like that goes with computers as well. But for other things,
Yeah.
I enjoy D&D. So D&D itself it's a hobby. Playing D&D is a hobby. Being a DM, a dungeon master of D&D, you create a story, you create characters. That's like creating a whole... It's almost like a book. You're creating a book, but you're not writing the events. You're creating like a land, you're world building. That could be considered its own hobby. Just writing in general.
Yeah.
Painting miniatures. Like, you don't need miniatures, so it's very much like optional to do. But even I want to paint miniatures to put them on the table to use. So it's like, at that point, is D&D like the roots, and all the other hobbies like the tree branches, almost like the tree and the branches?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So I don't know.
So yeah, and that's I think that is kind of more of what I was saying, where it's like with how do you describe it? With something like D&D, that's very similar, because it's like, it's just, there's so many off branches, and just, I guess I'm more just thinking like, I wonder what appeals to more people when it comes to hobbies, like how people get into hobbies and stuff. But I guess it's not really something you can break down, because you'd have to just talk to somebody.
This is also very much what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of scenario you're putting out. So
essentially, yeah. Because like I think about myself when I was younger and stuff, and like what got me into video games. And while I'm not really doing too much YouTube right now, one of the main reasons I started a YouTube channel back was specifically to play games that I either played when I was younger and never got to enjoy, right? I never understood them, or to play games I never got to play when I was younger. And that was kind of my whole point of starting the channel and just kind of posting that experience. And I think about it the same way, though, where it's like, I don't really know what even got me into video games. Like, I had, the generic stuff, and I played Pokemon and stuff. But then, like, when I was young, I would get, like, the N64, like Mario 64 and the Zeldas and all that on the N64. But for something just didn't click with me for video games back then, where it's like, I'd play them for like an hour and be like, I'm done. It's like, this was okay. Time to go back to, Pokemon Stadium or something. And then as I got older and I got into like all the RPGs, like the Elder Scrolls series and the PS2, like D&D, like Baldur's Gate and stuff, I really enjoyed a lot of those games too. And I got a lot more as I got older into like, I don't really know how to say it, like investing in a game.
So I've thought about this ever since I was in middle school, because that's also where like I started playing games with other people, and I started to realize why people like different games. So to answer your question, you don't understand how you got into games. I know how I got into games because my aunt would babysit me, and they had a Super Nintendo, and she would play Mario with me. And then I found the first Game Boy in Tetris, and then I found Pokemon. And Pokemon took me through like Nintendo, and middle school branched me over to like multiplayer Xbox and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But when I hit the Xbox era, and I'm learning, I like playing Elder Scrolls, I like playing RPGs like that, and then I like playing Call of Duty, not the story. I hate the story of any Call of Duty game or any shooter game. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I only like the multiplayer. So, the thing I notice is that people tend to play the games that appeal to what they don't have in life. So, if you think about it, if someone is playing Call of Duty all the time, they're either really good at it or whatever. So it's like them hitting that coping mechanism of they're really good at Call of Duty. They might feel lacking in some other part of their life. But Call of Duty is making them, the multiplayer at least, is making them feel good because they're beating other people in something.
Yeah.
For Elder Scrolls or like open world RPGs, it's almost more about freedom in a way. It's like, I have more freedom of choice of what to do here than what they have in their current situation. It's like, it's very interesting to think about. But then if you start looking at the games people play and then like how they act, you can sort of piece together more about their character than maybe they even realize.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like that was definitely a big turning point, I guess I would say, for me. Specifically the timeline of KOTOR 1 on the Xbox through to Mass Effect 1 on the 360.
Yeah.
That was probably like everything BioWare made in there. So like Jade Empire, I know Obsidian made KOTOR 2, but all that, Dragon Age eventually after Mass Effect. But those games and like the ability of choice, that really, really appealed to me. The Elder Scrolls games never really appealed to me in terms of choice. I've never really felt like they have a huge amount of like, your actions affect the world, but your actions are kind of determined as you're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot, I guess a lot more so with Oblivion and Skyrim, but even the earlier ones, it's like it never really felt like you had too much choice like for them. And I'm mentioning them because Morrowind was a game I played a lot on the Xbox. But I did really enjoy that, and I beat during my really bad depressive episode when I was a teenager after my mom died. I was like locked in a dark room playing Dragon Age 2, and I don't know, I got like so much comfort out of that world. I beat Dragon Age 2 as every class and both genders, so 6 times. And I was like, that was like all I did was I would get home from school, I'd go up to my room, I would turn on Dragon Age 2, and then I would just sit there and just play it until I went to bed.
Dang. So, like when I say Elder Scrolls and choice, I think less of how they're affecting the world and more of how more of how they're making their character, like how they fight and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see what
it's
you're
like
saying.
that freedom to be whatever you want to be rather than do whatever you want to do.
To play your way, as the kids say.
Kind of. So, I guess in a way, if I'm putting this back in that scenario, it's like maybe they want to play Elder Scrolls, make a character, because it is their idealistic form of them, where like maybe it's a dude and they want like a super buff character, or even like a female that's like I want to be strong, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, obviously in your Baldur's Gate 3 thing, you made a character based off your real D&D character, Nazir. But when you make a character in a game, just generally speaking, do you try to make them look like you, or do you just go off like... Because I make one of two things. I either make a monster, with just like the most busted pile of trash you've ever seen, or I make like a silver fox. So I'm curious, when you make a character, like...
So Nazir is interesting because, again, my channel is now named after my D&D character.
Yeah.
Nazir, we made in a power outage. I didn't want to just make a human. I wanted to explore D&D. So I made Dragonborn.
Yeah.
But the way I play Nazir is he's chaotic neutral. I'm a very neutral person on most things, but my decision on things will vary personally, like out of game. So my goal for Nazir would be to take every aspect of my personality and turn each dial to 11.
I see what you're saying.
So when
let's say for an instance, like a game like a Starfield or a Skyrim or just anything like that, like if Fallout 4, like do you generally try to make a character like when you have to make a human? I guess
I understand. I was getting to it. So
my bad.
I made multiple other characters, and if I'm going human, in a game, or like I don't like an elf or something, I will, generally speaking, put them in similar features. I think the features that I make the most similar are just eye color and hair color. Normally I'll be like, this person doesn't have a beard or whatever. But depending on where they're at, like if I go, for instance, Nazir is from a desert city called Calantha. They're known for huge lightning storms that never enter the city. It's only around, and all the lightning creates
falafel.
All the lightning creates a lightning glass from where it strikes the sand, and that's their export.
Yeah,
there's a lot of world building. That city takes a lot of inspiration from Roman architecture and stuff, so all the people there are kind of tan. Nazir, like if I had made a human character from there, that character would also be a very like tan character, whereas I'm pale as fuck. So
yeah,
I tend to come up with the idea of a character, be like, okay, well this character wants to protect, like, I don't know, their siblings in D&D or something. I make that, and I'm like, and this is where they're at, this is the city, this is whatever, this is how the people here look from this region.
Yeah.
And then I'll include aspects of myself so I connect with the character, but then aspects of whatever they come from.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I think I tend to generally, like I said, make monsters.
I like that.
By just jacking up all their shit. Or the only time I'll make somebody in my image is sports games, just because I get a little bit of dopamine off seeing myself
That makes sense.
be a baseball player or something. Now, one very small tangent. Fuck NBA 2K, okay? Because if I want to be a 5'4" center who weighs 100 pounds, I should be allowed to do that. But they don't let you do that. You have to pick your position, and then you get a range of heights you can be, which is stupid as hell. If I want to be 7 feet tall, taking 3-point shots like Klay Thompson, I should be able to do that. And if I want to be 4 feet tall, just trying to reach up to the ball at the center near the net, then I should be allowed to do that. I should be allowed to have Shaquille O'Neal lift me by the shirt and hurl me into the stands when I am 4 feet tall. Anyway, that's over. Just wanted to call out NBA because they're cowards.
I would like to say, for things like D&D, I like to make the human characters. But if I know I'm going to play a character for long enough, like a long time, like Nazir,
Yeah.
I don't want to play a character race like human, dwarf, elf, tiefling, and stuff like that, because they are overplayed and they look too much like how we are. If I want to play a fantasy game, I want to take advantage of, this is a fantasy world. I want to explore the nuances that could be delved into of not playing like a humanoid race. Dragonborns are humanoids, but again, they're like giant lizard things that can breathe lightning and fire and shit. So it's like,
yeah, and I feel very similar to that. My favorite race to play in general, whether it's from telling my character story or just building a character from scratch, is usually half elf.
yeah.
That's not available in a lot of games, of course, though. But when I do, like, make my character, I guess, I do want it, if it's fantasy, I do want it to be fantasy. Like for instance, if I played a game like Star Trek Online, which we were talking about last episode, if I played that for, like online or whatever, I would definitely not make a human.
Yeah.
It'd be the most boring thing you could be in Star Trek as a human. But if I was playing, like, maybe like Lord of the Rings or something, I'd be like an elf, and so on and so forth.
Well, I would like to point out, because of course some people from my D&D group listen to this, they might be like, you're a hypocrite. So it's not that I have a character that I'm playing right now, and his name is Sora, but he has like he's
actually voiced by Haley Joel Osment. It's really cool.
No, his whole backstory is that he got lost as a kid. He got taken in by a wizard group, and the wizard group was they raised him a little bit, and then they started performing like magic to try and turn him into an undead.
And then
And
they introduced him to Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. I know the story.
then a hero showed up and saved him, but the hero ended up dying. So this kid that's been secluded only knows like mistreatment, gets saved, released, but he finds the dead hero, and he swears on the dead hero's like whatever, his dead body, like he will not avenge him but become someone like him. And he takes the hero's like helmet mask thing, and in that moment it almost creates like a split. So this character plays like a separate, like he has a split personality. So whenever he's in a situation he can't handle, when he puts on the mask, he gets like that confidence and acts like the hero did.
I feel that.
But the thing is, he looks like a human. He's not a human. He is another race called a Dampier, which is essentially a vampire, but we're flaring it as something different. So even though physically he looks like a human, he doesn't have the same statistics. He looks way different, or he plays way different than an actual human would. That's my argument to anyone that says I'm playing a human right now as a certain character.
I feel that. You're playing human adjacent.
Yes. Human plus.
I'm in the realm of human, somewhere in there.
I can walk on the ceiling.
No, I definitely I see, the thing for me is that my character creating dichotomy is very split, because it's either games like Skyrim or something where you've got thousands of, that's a joke, you got, dozens of races to pick from, or it's like a sports game where you're just generic man. And so it's like, I will say any sports game gets a character creator pass from me if you let me do two things. One, give me sliders for the face so that my guy can have like a 10-foot long nose and his cheeks can come in like a V. If that's perfect. And second off, give me the ability to make them any height, because my little 5 foot tall dude that I have in my NHL game is fucking great, and he kills it, and he's injured almost every other game because he's so small and so hurtable. And I love it. I love it so much. I love having this tiny little dude, and then everybody's just like, just like bodies him into the glass. Or actually, I like that for any game. Let me pick my character's height, because yes, I'm probably going to make them extremely short, but maybe I want to go the other way, be a fucking hulking giant. That's how I play Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord specifically, but I made a character, he's like 7.5 feet tall. It's like, he's just like 400 pounds.
That makes sense. I had something I was going to say. Okay, what's the weirdest thing you've ever gotten for Christmas as a gift? Or
I haven't necessarily gotten weird gifts. The weirdest one would probably not be appropriate to tell. And probably it would be rather rude of me to tell. Maybe I could tell you off camera. But
yeah, secrets.
In terms of like a real present, I've gotten some weird stuff. I've gotten like before I started cooking, people gave me like pots and pans because they were like, hey, single dude living alone, here's some cooking utensils. And then like I got a microwave once, but like in general, it's like, I guess the weirdest I've ever gotten was my paternal family lives in a completely different state than me, and my parents have been separated were parents separated when I was like 5. So that's important context. So I very rarely go to like see them or anything anymore, but when I was younger, I went up there a lot. My mother and father had like joint custody. So I would go up to see my dad, right, every Christmas, and they were fairly poor, his side of the family. And so they would usually give you knickknacks. They'd take you to Walmart and give you $20 to buy a toy.
Okay, wait,
it wasn't the end of the world.
Can you put your hand in front of the camera, because you've like unfocused?
Yeah, I noticed. I have been addressing that. I'm looking janky. Holy shit. Hold on. Why do I look like I'm in a kaleidoscope? What is happening?
Do you think maybe you accidentally like spit on the lens?
No, definitely not. Come on. Work with me here, camera. I literally look like I'm in a kaleidoscope.
That's crazy.
I have like an after image of myself.
That's weird.
Well, I'll power on through this.
Oh, no,
regardless of the
it fixes itself. It fixes itself.
It's got to get the glasses like dead on, and then that seems to do something. But
yeah,
no, so I went up to visit.
Maybe it can't recognize your face because your monitor is reflecting over your eyes.
That's probably it. But the actual like weirdest gift was they, instead of doing it that year, I was leaving before Christmas for some reason.
Yeah.
And so they were going to just give me a gift card to Walmart. So I got the gift card. The gift card says $50. I go to Walmart when I'm home in Alabama, go up to pay. My mom's with me. I get the gift card out. I hand it to the lady. I'm probably 9 or 10. I have like maybe $45 worth of stuff, like some games or something. She checks it all out. I take the gift card, I hand it to her. She says, well, this gift card doesn't have enough on it. I said, it's a $50 gift card, and I just got it. So, yeah. And she rings it up, and I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be mean, but my fucking jank-ass dad's parents gave me a used gift card. It had, and I know it was used because it had already done a transaction, and it had 2713 on it. So they had like gone and bought some like groceries or something, and then been like, Zach can have the rest of this. Have Merry Christmas.
Dang.
So that in terms of like jank and stuff, that's definitely it.
I mean, well, yeah. It was definitely fucked up for them not to at least say this actually only has $27 on it.
I would have appreciated it, because if they had just lied to me and been like, we put $27 on this card, it's like, I was 10. I didn't know how gift cards worked. So I would have just been like, okay, it's a $27 gift card.
Yeah.
They had to use the 50 one because it was more than the 25 one. That makes sense. You know what I mean?
It's so weird. Anyway.
It is very weird. I always to this day wonder what they bought.
I don't know what the weirdest thing I've gotten is. Because, like, I don't know. Okay. I have one thing. It's not super weird. It's just, like, it's out of the ordinary, I guess you could say. But for the most part, all the gifts I get either, I'm like, hey, if you want to give me something, give me this. Or they just give me money. Or it comes from, like, a significant others. In which case, I don't really care what it is as long as, they thought of it. So, like, but my aunt will always get me... It's funny because I'm not super like in the skull stuff. Like, I don't know why, but it fits a certain aesthetic that I try to achieve for other reasons, but it's not something I particularly have ever said I liked or enjoy. She always gets me like some weird, you can barely tell, but you can kind of see the outline of it. This is a skull jar.
It's like a skull. Yeah.
I have another skull jar in there and then like a skull bottle. And I'm just like, why all the skulls? And then, because that's like...
And then you have an autographed copy of Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
It's like, it's a little bit weird. But I also have the vague memory of them going to some sort of like... It was called like Black Market Crystals or something like that. It's an actual store. It's not like Black Market or anything. But they brought me back like a quartz necklace that had a skull on it, and I wore it for the longest time. Don't know where it went, but that was cool. So she might have like remembered that. But the other thing she always gets me, this is like an occasional thing, that the skull thing is like, she'll probably give me one item that's a skull every year or two, whatever. Every year, twice a year, my birthday and or like Christmas. Or even like some like if she wants me to do something, like she's like, hey, I want you to help this elderly lady move. And I'll be like, okay. And she'll give me this. She will go to the stores and she will get like a 5-pound bag of taffy and just be like, here you go. And I'm like, I don't buy taffy. I like it.
Well, as long as you like it.
No, I mean, I like it. I love taffy. But I never have to buy it because there's some taffy in a bag over here right now. Because it never runs out. It's kind of amazing.
A similar story, but not really that interesting. But when I was doing YouTube more regularly, like 5 or 6 years ago, I was playing a Russian game that got a lot of Russian people watching the channel, and they would occasionally interact. And I made friends with a couple of them. And one year for Christmas, one of the guys was going to send me, and he did, Ukrainian like fizzy candy. So it's like hard candy, and then when you suck down to the middle, it fizzes like, not like Pop Rocks, more like the first sip of a Coke or something, right? And it's kind of sour. And I really liked them, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he like sent me the tracking order and stuff, and I got it. But he said he was going to send me a couple. And I literally at some point I was like, maybe he just put a couple in a fucking envelope, just mailed it. But no, he bought me like the fucking Amazon like 3.5 pound bag of it.
Damn.
So it sat in my fucking pantry for like a good 6 or 7 months before I got even within a respectable way through it.
That's fun. That's insane. The taffy, like, you know, since I started working out, I have to not eat sweets. I'm not like I don't have a big sweet tooth, but taffy, Starburst, it gets me. So I am dreading Christmas because I know there's gonna be so much fucking taffy given to me. And the thing is, I already know it's too late to say don't get it because she's the type of person that buys Christmas gifts for everyone earlier in the year when they're not expensive. So stuff like that. So I'm just gonna have to like put it away somewhere out of my sight because I will eat it.
Oh, definitely. I can definitely follow that. You know what I'm gonna put away out of my sight, Jacob?
These nuts.
This episode, because it's time to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to check us out on the Fluffy Biscuit Podcast YouTube channel if you want to see the video. Check us out on the Fluffy Biscuit Podcast Spotify page if you want to see just the audio. If you want to just stare at it, maybe like a waveform. You can check Jacob out on Twitter and I'm sure other places. We've gone over this at YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, at NazirTL. And you can find me at YouTube at NazirTL as well. So that will be doing it for these episodes. I apologize for the last couple of episodes too. I have looked like a hunchback, just kind of being like into the microphone because my chair is even more broken than usual, and it has started going forward by itself.
Yeah, that's a vibe. That's a vibe.
So wait, thank you all so much for watching.
Real quick before you say bye, I realized what was happening. In your glasses, you can see yourself. So I think the camera was zooming in on the picture of you in your glasses. Okay.
It was like it was cloning me for myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for watching.